The kingdom of Eldoria had never known silence. For centuries, its streets were filled with laughter, music, and the sounds of life. But one morning, the birds stopped singing, the bells never rang, and the entire kingdom fell silent. No one knew why, until this happened. Long ago, in a beautiful land called Eldoria, people lived in harmony. The markets were always lively, children played in the streets, musicians filled the air with joyful songs. At the center of the kingdom stood a magnificent castle where King Alaric ruled with wisdom and kindness. But Eldoria had one sacred tradition. Every morning at sunrise, the royal bell rang across the land. Its sound meant peace, protection, and prosperity. As long as the bell rang, the kingdom would thrive. One cold morning, the sun rose slowly over the mountains, but something felt wrong. The bell never rang. The streets were empty. No merchants opened their shops. No horses galloped through the roads. Even the wind seemed afraid to move. People peeked through their windows, whispering in fear. What happened to the bell? Why is everything so quiet? For the first time in hundreds of years, Eldoria was silent. In the royal stables lived a curious 20-year-old boy named Tarin. Tarin had always been unnoticed by the nobles, but he noticed everything. He loved exploring hidden corners of the castle. When the bell failed to ring, Tarin knew something was terribly wrong. "Someone must check the bell tower," he whispered. But no guards were moving, no servants were speaking. It was as if the entire castle had frozen in fear. So Tarin made a brave decision. He would find the truth himself. Tarin climbed the long spiral stairs of the ancient bell tower, step after step. The higher he climbed, the colder the air became. When he finally reached the top, his heart nearly stopped. The massive golden bell was cracked, and beneath it lay the royal bellkeeper, frozen like stone. Tarin gasped. Who did this? But then he noticed something strange carved on the floor, an ancient symbol, a symbol from a forbidden legend. Long ago, before King Alaric ruled, Eldoria had a dark enemy, a mysterious sorcerer known only as the Whispering Shadow. The legend said he cursed the kingdom before disappearing. One day, he warned, the kingdom would fall silent, and when silence ruled, darkness would awaken. Everyone believed it was just a myth, but Tarin now knew the truth. The curse had returned. While examining the cracked bell, Tarin discovered a hidden lever behind the stone wall. The wall slowly opened. Behind it was a secret staircase leading deep beneath the castle. With trembling hands and a racing heart, Tarin stepped into the darkness. Torches flickered along ancient walls covered in forgotten symbols. At the end of the tunnel, he found a mysterious chamber, and in the center of the room stood a glowing crystal. But someone was already there. Standing beside the crystal was the king's most trusted advisor, Lord Malric. Tarin froze. Lord Malric! The advisor slowly turned, smiling coldly. So, someone finally found me. Malric revealed the truth. For years he had secretly studied the forbidden magic of the Whispering Shadow. The bell protected the kingdom, but by breaking it, he'd unleashed the ancient curse. Soon the kingdom would fall under his control, and silence would rule forever. Tarin knew he was just a stable boy, but if he did nothing, Eldoria would be lost. Malric raised his hand, summoning dark energy from the crystal. But Tarin remembered something the bellkeeper once told him. The bell doesn't just ring with metal, it rings with courage. Tarin grabbed a fallen torch and threw it at the crystal. Crack! The chamber shook violently. The crystal shattered into pieces. Malric screamed as the dark magic vanished. At that exact moment, the broken bell in the tower began to glow. Its crack slowly sealed itself, and suddenly, boom! The royal bell rang across the kingdom. Birds began singing again. The markets filled with voices. Life returned to Eldoria. The silence was broken. When the guards discovered what had happened, Lord Malric was captured. King Alaric himself came to meet the boy who saved the kingdom. "You are no longer just a stable boy," the king said proudly. "You are the hero who brought back our voice." From that day on, Tarin became the youngest royal guardian in Eldoria, and every morning when the bell rang, he remembered the day the kingdom fell silent and the courage it took to make it ring again. But some people in Eldoria still whisper a chilling question. If the whispering shadow created the curse, where is he now? And will the kingdom ever fall silent again? Lessons from the story. Great heroes are not defined by their status, but by their courage to act when others are afraid. Not everyone who appears loyal truly is. Wisdom requires discernment. One brave decision can change the fate of many. Tarin saved the kingdom this time, but what if the whispering shadow is still watching? Subscribe now so you never miss the next legendary story.